tuned into Gila and Nehemia Sacred Erotic Poetry Podcast, Sacred Sexuality, and Ascension. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. So, before I begin and introduce myself, let's just take 3 deep breaths deep from our diaphragm onto into our upper chakras. So let's start now. And when you take that breath, hold when you've taken the breath for 3 seconds and then let go. Let's do it now. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I am calling in our guides, our angels, our ancestors, God, Source, Universe, the trees, Mother Earth, Father Sky, Central Sun, to assist us in this path. Our galactic guides, our ancestors from Atlantis, Sirius, our Lyran, and Blue Ray genealogy to assist us in this new beginning that we are stepping into right now as we are grounding the new earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Aho, and so it is. So, first of all, I'd like to thank you for being here. I'm Gila Nehemia. I am a sacred erotic self love mentor. I'm a writing empowerment coach and a spiritual guide. And I'd like to just thank you for being here. Thank you for listening in and tuning in today. And so I wanted to talk about the new moon in Scorpio. It was on Thursday. Today is Saturday, the 6th of November. Very, very passionate new beginnings, really opening up our loins, opening up our desire, our creative life force energy. And I'm just feeling this newness, this like passion for life. And if you've been following my 30 days of affirmations, we just finished actually yesterday. So I'd recommend that you tune in on YouTube and or I also did this beautiful discussion podcast with Radha Neela, and you can find that right here in this podcast channel on Women Who Write. So I just wanted to focus in on what is this new moon in Scorpio, new beginnings energy. I feel like all of our life force is based on desire. And as I've said in my previous episode about like it is our soul's message. And the more that we tap into that, there are shadows that might come up about how we can or cannot have something. And so that's where the self affirmations really go into play. And as we like step into more of who we are and more of our own divinity, we realize that actually none of that is true. It's just all a false belief. And how do we continue to dispel that? How do we continue to move into this higher levels of consciousness? And I feel like this new moon in Scorpio is assisting in that process. It's assisting us to really step into all that we are, and sometimes it's very unclear. Like the ways are never clear, and that's always what a new moon is about. It's always about darkness. It's darkest before the dawn, so the more that we can tap into that darkness, and that darkness can include traumatic events in your life. That darkness can include things that never worked out, and you wanted them to. And so how can this be different? You might ask yourself, like, why is this new moon different? Well, because we have evolved. We've evolved as beings on this planet. The planet has evolved. Our knowing of our divinity has evolved. Our healing process has evolved. I can just say for this anthology that I'm working on with 10 other authors, the just in the time frame from when we started to now, which is about 6 months, the writing has evolved. And of course, we've had meetings, though I feel like everyone in their own space has evolved. as part of the collective and part of the individual self process. And that includes self inquiry. And I have been mentioning this, especially in my self affirmations, and I'd like to talk about it a bit as well now because I feel that this is part of God consciousness, miracle consciousness, God consciousness. The more that we tap into this God consciousness, it's not just about evolving as a person, it's about evolving into our higher self, evolving into our full becoming, evolving into the divinity that we are. And I'm stressing this in this particular podcast about God consciousness and this new moon because the more that you step into that consciously, you consciously step into your divinity, you consciously step into your dreams and your visions without settling. Even if it looks similar to another scenario that you had in your life, it's different now. It's different now because you've evolved. It's different now because you have this new energy. It's different now because you're living your vision. And I have felt that. I have stepped into new roles in my life. I've left certain situations, and I'm just allowing it to happen. I'm in full acceptance that this can happen, and in I'm allowing source energy to move through me. And this is an important juncture for me, and I think it's an important juncture for humanity. So I feel that I am part of the collective. I may be a way shower. I know that I am in my own right, in my own family, in my own connections, though I also realize that the more that I can fully step into my vision and allow it to happen without controlling it, um, I will be surprised. I will be living my life with wonder. And that is also part of God consciousness. Allow yourself to be surprised and expect the unexpected and always know that you are taken care of. And these are some of the things I've been talking about all along, though I feel like it needs to be, we need to be reminded. I know I need to be reminded on a continual basis, even if it's a moment by moment or hour by hour or day by day, that this is like no other. We are in this amazing awakening. I am part of the 1111 Unified virtual event, and I'll put the link in the details. Over 55 presenters, including Elizabeth April, Anna Starr, and is actually organizing it. And we're just like really, really amazing people on this. Some of my own colleagues are presenting as well, and I'm just like, whoa! I'm totally grateful that I took that opportunity. It was an opportunity. I saw an opportunity, and I said, I want to be part of this. This was about over a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and I said, I want to be part of this, and I don't know if it's going to happen. And it did. And it was like this one thing after another made everything more possible and more exciting and more yummy and, more sexy, more like, yeah, I like this. Really tapping in this conversation I had with Anastera, that's part of the interview. We tapped into a lot of amazing, amazing ideas about, our sexual life force energy, our creative energy, how we can transform as we step into that Kundalini awakening. We covered the gamut in that 45-minute interview, and I'd love for you to be part of that presentation and many others. So you're going to benefit from so much. It's 55 presentations from the 10th. It's going to be on November 10th to the 11th. And there's various degrees of if you want to just listen or you want to have a VIP pass, or there's all sorts of different things you can choose from. Extremely affordable. So I recommend you do that. And why is this important? We talked about heart coherence. Because the more that we can connect with our hearts, the more that we can heal the planet and heal ourselves, we're moving into different dimensions of consciousness, different dimensions of our own life, different dimensions of what's possible on this earth. Many of us may have felt over the past several lives that we've had. It could be, eons, millennia of our soul's growth, that things just haven't worked out. So it's like in ourselves. And so the more that we can step into this God consciousness, and this isn't new, as I've mentioned, Florence Scovel talked about this in previous podcasts. In since, the late 1800s. So we're not stepping into anything new, but we're stepping into it as a collective. And that's what's new. It's not just these pockets, of like these, amazing people in our lives, or these amazing saints that have occurred, and yet we're living this 3D, kind of mundane life. No, we get to live the exciting life that we've always dreamed about. We get to live the divine, synchronicity, every moment. It's a choice. It's a choice that you have right now, especially now because the veil is so thin. We just left Halloween, Samhain, and we are moving into 11/11. So this portal right now, and as we're going forward, whether you like it or not, you're going into a new beginning. Let's just put it that way. And so you're moving in. I wanted to also thank my New Zealand listeners. I know that I have been uh, somewhat popular there. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And wherever you are listening to me, I want to just thank you for taking the time. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I want to join hands. Let's move this collectively. It's no longer an individual ride. It never ever was, though we had been socially conditioned to think so. That, at least from the United States, of where I was born, we're in a very capitalist society, that it's about the self, and it is about self growth, though it's part of a collective whole. And I feel like I forgot that. Again, this part of remembering. I have forgotten in part of my own life, for many decades, I've forgotten that I can do anything. I have moments of those epiphanies, right? We have moments where we're like, oh wow, yeah, that happened, amazing, and then we get into the groove of that. Though we can call upon that at any time. This is part of the quantum field. We can call upon healing. We can call upon Holy Mother, Holy Father to assist us. We can call upon God, our angels to move us through. We can use colors. We can use essences. We can use plants. We can use anything that we feel is going to assist us in the next moment in time, in our next manifestation, in our next vision, in our next growth of who we are. Because we can, because we are, because we are unlimited beings, because we're spiritual beings living a human experience, or we're human beings living a spiritual experience, whichever way you think about it, whichever way works for you. And that's important point too, whichever way works for you. And this is something that happened in my new moon healing, that the people attended, that we realized, like, the universe, the wisdom is within. The kingdom of heaven is within, as Jesus says, and that I like to quote many times, because we have all that we need inside ourselves, and we keep thinking that that next method is going to solve our problems, and it isn't. Because the method is within us. What you seek is seeking you. And it could be a guide like me. If you're looking for a guide, I am here to help you on your journey, and to help you to find the wisdom in yourself, to help you to trust your intuitive guidance, to help you to take that next step. I definitely believe in working together. Don't get me wrong. That's what this is all about, right? Interdependence. Interdependence into the wisdom that's within us, if that makes sense to you, because it's always a self intermingled with the collective. And how we do that is really important. Why do people go to work? People work because together we create more than if we were alone. Alone time is important, as well as creation time with each other. Why do we like to be in union in relationships with another? Romantic relationships, work relationships, partnerships, because there's something um, that is transcendent above the self. And we can't get there until we have the intermingling of both, which is a truly important point, because if we're not spending the time alone, and we're only spending the time with others, we're missing it. We're missing that alone time. So it's a balance. It's a divine balance. So we are in the divine balance right now. If you're desiring it, this is what I've been striving for all this year, or maybe all my life, I was going to say, because that divine balance means I'm balanced within all the chakras of myself, within my masculine and feminine energies. And it could be a 23rd, it could be 20/80 at times, it could be 50/50, it could be a 30/70. But there is that homeostasis, there is that balance that makes me feel grounded and also takes me to the sky, takes me to, the galaxies, takes me to the stars. Yesterday, my daughter and I were walking and we almost saw, I felt like we saw a galaxy right there. It was a cluster of stars and they weren't all together. And I was just like, whoa, yeah, I can see this now because I am living my life with wonder. I am opening all my senses to all that is, looking for all the opportunities and the ways that I can be more of my authentic self. So that's what I feel like this Scorpio new moon is inviting us into. It's inviting us into the passion. It's inviting us into deep, deep, vulnerable love with another, with ourselves, with God. And another big point I wanted to share is this, and I know I've said it before in a previous podcast, is this desire to mate, to be with another in deep, deep, vulnerable love is taking us back to our connection to God that we may have felt we lost. But in actuality, we never lose anything. We're always in a position of gain. And if there is something that needs to move through us, that needs to be released, as we accept and allow that release, we open into the gain. We open into deeper love of God, of another, of ourselves. So if you're on that trajectory of a divine partnership or that real deep love with another and with God, because that's really the epicenter, the epitome of this intermingling, of this weaving of love of another, love of self, and love of God. Like this is the Holy Trinity. We used to think of the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. Well, what about if we think about it as our self, our partnership with another, and our partnership together with God? It's a Holy Trinity. I used to see like three birds all the time, and I didn't understand what it was. I thought about it, but now I realize it's the Holy Trinity. It's a holy marriage. It's holiness. It's the whole of ourselves. Just think of HOLY and then whole, WHOLE. Um, both of those words kind of intermingle with each other. So if you're on this path, if this is resonating you of God consciousness, like step into it fully. This is yours for the taking. It is abundance consciousness, is bliss consciousness, miracle consciousness, God consciousness. I feel like they're interchangeable because miracles happen every moment. Are you allowing more to come in? Are you allowing yourself to step into your intuitive guidance and taking those opportunities wherever they may lead? And even if you think nothing came out of it, it actually did because you took the action and you'll take it again. You had the courage to take the action, and you'll probably have the courage. If you did it once, you'll do it again. And it's going to be a bigger leap and a bigger leap and a bigger leap because there is no risk. Your God is there. You have the trampoline underneath you. So wherever you fall, you're going to be safe. Mother Earth is there to hold you and give you eternal, unconditional love. Um, this has been, this has been in the weaving inside my mind. I just recently want to share this also. I just recently took on this contract position where I'm working with the physical heart. Where I'm really learning about the physical heart and the electrical impulses that happen inside the heart. And I'm like, wow, this has been such a gift to have this position, as well as my own coaching business that focuses on the emotional heart and on frequency. It actually all ties together. any problem that we're having physically in our heart, in our bodies, again, is about frequency. Are we attuned to the frequency of our highest love, our highest frequency in at this time? Are we moving towards that highest frequency? Because there's electrical impulses that contract and um, release different portions of the heart, and there is a place that controls that inside the heart. And when it gets off kilter, that's when we need some help. Like things aren't working correctly, and you can have these procedures. And I also believe that you can have a realignment of yourself. The more that you're aware of what's going on with your body and what might not be working correctly, which happens all the time, we can rework it. We can come into realignment, and you can take many paths to that. There are infinite paths to the same thing. And so it depends on you. How do you want to go? And I feel that everything that falls in front of you, like that comes to you with open hands as you're receiving, is a gift. Whatever that is, no judgment, only acceptance. And sometimes that's hard to do, right? I had to really think, do I want to take this position? Do I not want to take this position? There were so many great things about it. I said, yes, I'm going. God has given me this gift. I'm going there. And what is the next step? I'm not sure. Though I know that my coaching business, my podcast, these things are like I'm doing them, and I'm doing this as long as I have enough time for both, which I do. And it's actually created more productivity in my life. So there are many, many gains to the things that we're releasing and the things that we're moving into. Sometimes it's an idea, and I know for me, I thought I had to do it this way. Well, you know what? There is no one way. And when we release that thought and say, okay, there are infinite ways to get to what is my birthright. So let me follow the God way. Let me follow the higher self way. Let me follow what the universe is giving me all the time. And let me tap into my own intuitive guidance to see, does that make sense to me? Does it, work with my mind, my heart, my body? And if that's a full body yes, do it. Do it. It sometimes doesn't even need to make sense. Just do it if it's a full body yes. Sometimes you're just like, yes. Even before somebody says what, you're like, yes. Because you feel it. This is part of God consciousness. You're feeling the infinite oneness at that moment. And that could be many moments. That could be your entire life. This is the beginning. This new moon in Scorpio is the beginning. This is the passion. Passion, sometimes I think about sex, I think about desire. It's also the passion of my own life, the passion of my own becoming, the passion of my guidance, the passion of reaching millions through my books, through my coaching, through my connecting of the heart, through these podcasts. It's passion. And it makes me really excited. So I'm inviting you into the excitement. I'm inviting you into your own divinity. I'm inviting you into the possibilities that can be yours. And I'm also inviting you into the shadow. Because as we step in, the shadows will come, and allow them in too. Because that's what makes us a human being. That's what makes us someone that's living on this earth. That's what we need to understand, that we can accept and love and be whole with, and still live a sovereign life full of passion, full of love, full of desire, full of compassion and kindness. So I'm just really, really excited for this new moon. I'm excited about 11/11. I plan to come on 11/11. So stay tuned. I expect you. I am inviting you to sign up for the 11/11 Unified with 55 plus presenters. It's going to be a joyride. So definitely register. I'll put the link in the comment in the details. And I'm wishing you so much love. I am inviting you to connect with me. If this is resonating, take the next step. Click on the link, gilanehemia.com, and join one of my group or personal mentoring programs. I'm enrolling now in only those programs. And so I would really love to connect with you and help you to open up into your own universal wisdom, to trust again in your heart, and to help you to remember the truth of your own divinity. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Aho, and so it is.